This is NT Zone, your host, Dale. So, talking about the superego. Freud talks about it. Lacan talks about it. Several people talk about it. Um, Google talks about it. In fact, there's a really vague definition of it if you do a Google search. Morality versus the reality, which is ego, versus the id. Um, but is this very reasonable? Well, no. If you look at people in general, they're wounded. They don't always show the wounds. Actually, a lot of times they don't because they have a mask on. And this mask, Lacan calls superego. Now, the origin of the superego, there's a lot of different theories, but I'm not going to talk about all the different theories because I want this to be a pithy video. I would like to talk about it from the standpoint of desire. So, for one, you're growing up as a child, you get your self alienation through the mirror stage, which I'll talk about in a different video. Um, Eventually, you come across these ideas from your parents, from teachers, whatever, about morality. Everyone wants to be a good person. You get candy if you do well. If you treat each other nicely, here. But if you don't, you're a terrible person. And in fact, you will be punished. So, at one end of it, you get this idea of desire. And they're telling you what is desirable as a desirable trait, which will get you the candy. On the other end, they're talking about this very terrible punishment you're going to receive because you broke the rules. Now, if we look at it even further, people develop these wounds within them, and the superego as a mask covers them because it's how people basically subconsciously cope in society. And it's a big part of the ego structure, by the way. So here's what I mean by it. A persona. That's the Latin. It's where we get the word personality. Persona comes back to this mask that the Latins will wear, and so when you develop this persona, as Latins acting would wear, you're putting on this mask, and that mask is a portrayal of something. But being a portrayal, it is not what is actually there. So that's the important part of a superior ego, is it's not actually there. It's fake. Now, talking about superego in detail, how we do not exactly know what we desire when we have such fakeness going on for a long time, long time, long time. Aspects of ourselves being repressed. It is no surprise that we would not know who we are or what we desire. So we might think, I really want fame. I really want power. I really want uh, a successful life. I really want sexuality, whatever. But here's the problem. Are you really talking for yourself? Or are you talking about something that society has told you to think of as good? And of course, when you have the psychoanalysis going on, this repression is removed. So you can enjoy things even better. But at the same time, you don't really know what you want. So, how can you really enjoy these things? The enjoyment itself is a function of superego, because of simple reason. You see things as desirable, you associate it with good things. Um, but what you desire is not really an objective thing, it's more akin to prejudice. I have taste. You might enjoy Coke, I enjoy Pepsi, but the problem is they are essentially the same product. Yes, different chemical, like different mixture, whatever. But they're both soda. They're both water that has like air in it, and corn syrup, and so on and so on and so on. So at the store, when someone asks you, "Or what you want to drink?" and you say, "I want a Diet Coke," but they say, "We, but no, we don't have Diet Coke. We have Diet Pepsi." That is a superficial distinction. But that's not really what matters. The superego basically dominates a lot of things. You do not know much. What you desire is actually mythology. Desiring is not real. The superego, though, a lot of people talk about it in a negative sense. Let's talk about it in a positive sense. Since it does control what we desire, and our desires are prejudices of taste, I would have to say that if you want to enjoy, embrace the superego. If you want to know yourself, remove the superego mask. If you want to get rid of pathologies, yes, there are pathologies that will come from within the superego because you're covering the wound and there's a lot of repression. You take off that superego mask as much as you can and discover things. By the way, when Lacan talks about anxiety, he talks about this man who is you wearing this mask from a praying mantis, being confronted directly by this praying mantis who's a female. Now, as you know about praying mantises, they tend to have cannibalistic sexuality. And here's the thing about this mask. You do not know if you're portraying a male or female. This is problematic. You also do not know exactly what this female praying mantis wants in relation to you. So if it's trying to mate with you, well, I hope you've prepared yourself because you're about to get eaten. If you see it and it doesn't really want to mate with you, good. So it is with the superego. You do not know what you desire, but there's a lot of anxiety involved. It's related to otherness in a very deep way. And this is all I wanted to talk about for this first video. Thank you for watching.